are here with Scooch, who represented the UK with the iconic Eurovision classic, Flying the Flag, parentheses, for you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is really exciting.
Thank you.
Can you talk about what your relationship was to Eurovision growing up?
Me and Natalie did a TV programme a few years ago now called When Eurovision Goes Horribly Wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And there was an act who were, I think they'd just gone before us, but I never realised until that day that we filmed that TV show. My first 7-inch single, so vinyl records, that I was ever given was actually from Belle and the Devotions, who recorded Love Games in 1984. So it was weird that when they were there, I remember thinking, oh my God, I know who Belle and the Devotions are, but I never associated them with Eurovision. But it was 3 girls in these boxy kind of Alexis Colby Carrington jackets and PVC skirts with punk rocker hair doing this Motown kind of Diana Ross and the Supreme song. It was absolutely incredible. What about you, Caroline? Anything?
My first memory of Eurovision was actually through a song. I didn't know about Eurovision, but my dad had an album with Sandy Shaw, Puppet on a String. And I think as a child, that was a really kind of like fun melodic song. And then through that, I learned about what Eurovision was, and then obviously became a huge, massive fan of the nuts craziness that goes on.
That early 90s, Michael Ball and Sonia both came second, I think, didn't they? They did, yeah. We were just about to win again, then it all changed.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and actually, can you talk about that a bit? Because, you know, the UK has a complicated history with Eurovision. In the 90s, it really dominated the contest. And then people point to Terry Wogan as sort of the driver of this in a certain way. That the perception of what Eurovision was changed, and the UK became kind of disenchanted with the contest.
Sir Terry, rest in peace, he had his own style of presenting, and he sort of said it how it was, didn't he? So if he didn't like something or he thought that something was a bit silly, he would say it. But he always took it seriously, as in it wasn't like he was there to mock. I think he would have a few Baileys on the night, and it is just to say, it was entertainment, especially when Sweden hosted it again a few years back. They really had that sort of tongue-in-cheek fun with it, that whole sequence about how to write a Eurovision song.
Right,
I mean, that was all very how Terry would have thought about it. We're all just having a good time.
I did not expect to ever see a grinder joke on Eurovision.
Wasn't that brilliant though?
And I love that, like, knowing their audience, the fact that the sound alone can be the punchline. They're like, our audience will get it.
Suddenly everybody at home reaches for their phone and checks that it's on silent. It was funny because with Ollie Alexander, my husband Gareth had said, I'm so glad that I'm not watching this with my mother. And I thought, like, when did you get old?
Do you remember being asked quite a few times whether we were taking it seriously? But we were like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
As a performer, why would you not want the opportunity, 1, to represent your country, and 2, to get to perform on the biggest stage that you will ever get to perform on? Flip it to the likes of Justin Timberlake and Madonna, who have both used it as a massive platform to showcase their work. If you go back to maybe the original conception, it was a song competition where they'd have a live band, so it was very much about the music. Whereas I think probably through our generational change in the way we landed in Eurovision, it's a television programme that gets the biggest ratings every single year. You know, the people who are entering are from this time, aren't they?
Right.
That's the key thing. It's their way of expressing how they are right now in a world where, for example, you don't need live human beings to create music anymore, let alone musicians. Everything can be done digitally. And it's more, I think, about great visuals.
So to scooch us back to the beginning, like, what was the audition process like?
1998, me and Caroline were at college together. Lee Latchford Evans, who is in Steps, he was the year above us at college, wasn't he? And he went to an audition for a line dancing pop group at the time. Obviously, Steps became Steps, and they're iconic. And so the same management a year later wanted to put another group together. Me and Caroline went. And then what happened with you, Natalie?
We're telling the truth here, aren't we? Yeah. we had a story back in the day, but we can be honest now. So, yeah, no. So what happened was I went to the original auditions. I got down to the last 10 and then I was booted out. So they went in to like record, and I don't know, like basically the other singer got, and then I re-auditioned and then got in. the second time round, and there was another David before. He left the band, and we got David. Yay!
And me and David moved in together. The management had a flat for us, and you, Caroline, lived up the road, didn't you, as well? EMI picked us up, and then we were doing schools tours. You know, schools tours in gay clubs. That was what we were doing. Under 18s. Yeah. So we were in the back of a tour bus for months and months. We supported Bewitched, and then we met Daphne and Celeste. Westlife had just started, and Five, and it was quite a boy band heavy sort of time.
The songwriters on a lot of your initial hits, right, were Mike Stock and Matt Aiken, who are kind of pop legends. Never Gonna Give You Up. So what was it like working with them?
The process was they would create this song. Natalie would always go in for a full day, wouldn't you, and record your vocal, and then we would fit our vocals in around it. That's when we identified the Scooch sound, which I think went from Natalie opening up to Caroline doing her harmony over the top and then building on that. But for me, the actual experience, I probably shouldn't say this, that was probably the least favourite part, because as a male in Scooch, we're kind of redundant. So there's just seemed to be a lot of hanging around to do an ooh and an R or something that you never felt as if you contributed. And Mike was a perfectionist. He knew exactly what he wanted out of you. And if that meant, in my case, having to re-record your vocals 20 times...
Oof.
Syllable by syllable sometimes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, very, very kind of musical, of where we've all kind of done musical theatre training. And it was very alien, actually, doing it like that.
I grew up with Kylie Minogue records posted on my wall. So working with the person who wrote the songs that I knew, trying to find that window to ask him questions. And I did ask him, I did say, Mike, you know, who's the greatest person that you ever worked with? Hoping that he would say Kylie Minogue or Sonia.
Right.
And he said Donna Summer. But he added to the end, because she only did one take. So again, that's another reason why I thought, is that a dig at me? Because
I was going to say, felt like a jab.
That was their job, and they were really good at doing their job. So why would, you know, a 22-year-old person ever have an opinion that mattered to somebody like that who had that success? Now, aged 47, I've got 47 years worth of things to share, whether it be an idea, a lyric, something that I want to do. You know, they talk about pop acts being puppets. We kind of were, because we probably got into it chasing the dream of thinking that we just wanted to be on top of the pops.
You had so much success early on. You know, what was that like emotionally at a young age?
We worked 365 days a year. We'd do maybe a schools tour in Scotland, 3 schools in the morning, and then we would drive all the way through the day to get to London to go to a party. And then we'd get back in the car and drive all the way back up to carry on. It was just non-stop. When we did Eurovision, we were all a little bit older in 2007 compared to 1998. And we were able to actually sit back and take it all in and actually observe what we were doing and enjoy each other more. Whereas when we were young, it was literally just like, we were puppets in a sense that we had our schedule and we got told what to eat, we got told where to go, what to wear, how to do our hair, all that stuff. I found one of our schedules the other day. Our manager, Steve, used to call it a Scooch duel. Funny guy, yeah. Maybe it was for like a 2-month period, and it was literally dates every single day. We were doing something or other. For me, the schools tours were a bit of a low point, I'll be honest. We get to like a school wherever in the country, and our performance would be in like the assembly hall, and they'd have maybe like a store cupboard with like sports equipment in it. We would hide in there whilst the kids would come in. They didn't know who we were either, these kids. We weren't on telly at that point. And we'd have this like slightly naff poster that we'd put on the back wall saying Scooch. It definitely puts hairs on your chest. Our favourite audience, obviously ever, is our gay audience.
Right.
But another slightly low point was the under-18s nightclubs. Ooh, I mean, they were all too cool for school.
We were on this little like stage that was really, really small, surrounded by like under-18s, and one of them literally grabbed my backside. I was like in shock, and I decided that I was going to kind of like get them back, and I just grabbed their backside and I literally shook it. And I went, Yeah, under 18, so I shouldn't have said that, should I?
Different time.
It was like singing for 10% and 90% promotion.
We literally never sang live until Eurovision.
Wait, really?
We just didn't. It wasn't done. No one did. Britney,
Right, yeah.
obviously, Bewitched. They never
Right.
sang live. We did one gig where it was literally us on stage and just one man getting drunk in the audience. They put our CD in. And you remember it went super fast. And it was our first single, When My Baby, which was like fast.
Yeah.
And we were absolutely just peeing our pants. It was like, what can you do? No one's here watching anyway. So let's just kind of laugh. And we performed at a movie premiere. And Al Pacino was watching us, which was just bizarre. We were probably the last thing Al Pacino wanted to see. And we were at the beginning of the song and the music just stopped. And none of our mics were live.
It was always like you'd have the CD player at the
Right.
So we'd be jumping around and it would just
and it
go
would skip.
skipping all the time. And obviously we had like coat hangers for mics. So even when it stopped, we couldn't even say anything to cover it.
It's nice to sing live, but it's also something that we're not very well practiced at doing as a group. But I suppose for me and Russ, it's not as if we've got an awful lot to do with them. There's more pressure probably on the girls, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
I think by the time we got to our third single, me and you were like, well, it'd be nice to have a little bit of something, maybe we could do an ad-lib or something. For The Best Is Yet to Come, we did do a couple of ad-libs, didn't we? They never made it on the record, but
Because it's interesting because it sounds like your recording process, you mostly recorded separately. And then, not performing live. It's like, as you say, like as a band, like finding your sound, balance, all that. It's kind of on the technicians.
I saw somewhere that More Than I Needed to Know was called by one journalist the best Eurovision winning song that never was. So did you ever consider in those early years entering Eurovision?
yeah, I mean, thinking about it, it would have been perfect at the time. I can't remember us ever actually talking about it. Can you?
And I think in my head, I probably thought Eurovision was for old people. I didn't view it as being a cool thing that I wanted to be involved in.
So then, can you talk about the group disbanding after For Sure?
I think it was just a sort of natural kind of departure. There were no more singles to record or albums to record. I was expecting my first baby. So we all kind of went off and did our separate things. But I was really, really, really surprised when Russ sort of came to us all to say, would you be interested in doing Eurovision? And I remember thinking, well, yeah, but obviously that's not going to happen, is it?
I'd been to the selection show the year before and I thought we should have a go at this. So I contacted the BBC the next year and said, what do you think about Scooch doing it? And they were actually really excited. Because we hadn't been away for that long. There'd actually been, I think, a few rumours, definitely, I'd heard.
And you started those?
No, probably on some forum somewhere, yeah. So I got together with a guy called Morton who used to work with us back in the day when we wrote a song. The BBC said, we love it, but it's too good. Not too good, but it's, it was just a really nice just pop song. There was nothing crazy about it. It was just a nice song. Have you got anything else? Anything that's a bit more, fun? So that's when Flying the Flag was born. So we did a demo for that, just sort of a 30-second demo. They loved it. Then that's when it all started.
So we got that initial phone call saying we might be going into the selection process. And I was like, I'm just going to ignore that. It's not going to happen. And then we actually heard a bit of the song and I was like, oh gosh, this actually might happen. And then we got into the actual Making Your Mind Up, which was our selection show. And when we heard the other acts that we were going to be up against, again, I thought there's no chance because they all had record deals. We were the only ones that didn't have any kind of backing behind us. But I think it was our complete kind of visual performance that did it. But obviously, as well, we had the amazing moment with Terry Wogan, who announced the wrong winner. The two presenters were Sir Terry Wogan, who's a legend, and Fern Cotton. It was ourselves and a singer called Cindy, who was actually French. They decided, I don't know why, to announce the winner together. And obviously we heard what Terry was saying.
Yeah.
We started immediately clapping, well done, Cindy. Let's go to work tomorrow. Let's go back to our normal lives. And then Fern went, no, it's Scooch. And then it was just that moment. If they'd have not cocked that up, it wouldn't have been as shocking. suddenly, oh yeah, we've won. What is going on?
And then you had to perform,
We
right?
had to perform that song 3 times on that show. Oh my God, what were we doing? Why did we do that? It was mad. We were on the front page of various tabloid newspapers because apparently we had secret singers off stage. They just called backing vocalists. That's who they are. That again was almost a blessing in disguise because it gave us way more press. People who weren't clued into Eurovision at all would have heard about that and gone, oh, let's watch this big kind of cock up on TV. We're here now still. Like, what is going on? People still want to hear from us. It's great. It's great.
The thing about the staging of our number, you've got to remember, if you go back to the selection show, you had a lot of solo artists. So we were the only group of people, really. So as a choreographer, you had more people and more opportunity to do something with it.
There were changes made before Eurovision, right? Can you talk about
I think
some of that?
To win the UK contest, you know, we're flying the flag, we've got Union Jacks everywhere, and that's part of, I think, the reason, you know, that we were chosen. It's like, yes, come on, we're going to fly the flag for you. But then obviously the UK can't vote for us when we're out here. So we're like, UK, oh, actually, we can't just have Union Jacks everywhere, can we? Because that's ridiculous. So we put all the flags on and things like that.
The song reached number 5 in the UK Top 40 chart.
I think coming home with that number 5 chart hit was, what more could you want? That was a gift given to us from the people who sent us to do the competition on behalf of them. We've always had that affection, I think, with the British public. They've looked after us firmly, tongue-in-cheek over the past few years, and I think we've looked after them right back.
We talk a lot about the gap between the charts and Eurovision, and because sometimes they're very linked and sometimes they're not at all.
There's a difference there, isn't there? It's a TV show. That's the reality of it. I don't think it's about selling records. I don't think it's about chart positions. I don't think it's about anything other than ratings.
In the years following 2007, Flying the Flag has really, I think, become a Eurovision classic. Why do you think the song has had the staying power that it has?
The visual side of it, but the actual lyrics and almost the instructional side of it. We've found that in holiday parks in the UK, it's the song that is always played for the kids, and they will do the flying the flag arms. I think it's as simple as that.
And you have a children's version of the song, right?
Oh yeah, so we did. There's a program called Blue Peter, and it's literally for children. Yeah. So for my lyrics, when I say "We wish you a very pleasurable journey," I just did it unsexually. So I just said, "I wish you a really pleasurable journey." Whereas David had to completely edit his word. Instead of something to suck on for landing, sir, it was.
Would you like a sweet, sir?
Which it was. It was very strange. It was almost like, what? Why are we doing this program if we can't actually do like the best bits of the song? But I think it's not only the visual. All you have to say is, "Oh, we did the aeroplane song." I was chatting to a guy yesterday on the plane, a lovely 80-year-old gentleman, and he said, "Oh, you did the Eurovision." And I said, "We were the airline crew," and it was like straight away. It was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." But also, it's so in your head.
So do you feel like there's a sense of that sort of a British opinion on Eurovision changing in a way?
Well, I think if Sam Ryder hadn't done it, I don't think Ollie possibly would be doing it. So I think it's maybe like a stepping stone. More people that I know, this isn't because I have done Eurovision. They're rewatching Eurovision now. Maybe they poo-pooed it when they were younger. They're rewatching it now and going, actually, this is bloody good. It's so diverse. What show can you watch where you watch one number of whatever it is, and then next you've got an ice skating Russian man ice skating round a piano? I mean, it's just bonkers, isn't it? And you can't not like that. Even if you're going to watch it and go, oh, you know, just kind of slate everything, it's still entertaining. You know what I mean?
Thank you all so much. This was amazing.
Yeah, thank you for spending the time.